Welcome. What?
Good hunter.
Very well. Let me stand close.
Let me level you up.
Now shut your eyes.
Only one? Yeah, it's scaling up really fast. So let's put a point into arcane. Let's just put one in arcane for now.
Well, good hunter.
And I think honestly, I usually like to keep like a saw weapon for Amelia, but screw it. I'm just gonna be brave and get rid of the saw right now, and then just main the tonitrus for now until we can get the other weapons that I want to use. So I'm gonna sell the saw for now. It doesn't give a lot of experience, but whatever. Oh, and then maybe there's some rune upgrades we can do to the weapon. Let's see. We need 6 more upgrade stones to get a tonitrus to the next level. Hey, what? Oh yeah, that's another really important thing about the tonitrus that you need to know, is that it has the worst durability of any weapon in the game, so it breaks, and when it breaks, you basically have no weapon, so you gotta repair it every once in a while, and that's really annoying. But that's another reason I think it's really important that we're gonna use the tonitrus together with one more weapon that we're gonna get later, and once we have both, we can alternate, and if one of them should break, we can start using the other. But yeah. That's it's really annoying. Durability, I don't know why it needs to exist in a game like this. I think it would have been just as fine as if weapons just did not break. It adds like a layer, I guess, of depth, but not really. But yeah, now we're pretty much kitted out, and I think we're gonna head back up to the main path into Cathedral Ward and try to get one more weapon upgrade on the tonitrus, and then head for Amelia. The range is not great. I whiffed a lot there because of the limited range, but it's good enough. And you don't have to buff it up, it still does decent damage even if you don't. That's one of the only 2 shields that exist in this game, and just because this is not Dark Souls, you know, it's Bloodborne, it has its own very unique dynamic with cool firearms and stuff. I prefer not to use shields. I usually use a firearm. Like I think that's like the only scythe guy in the entire game, the only version of that enemy. But he's pretty strong. Try and lure these guys over. Alright. Enough. Get this view. Okay, this is so yeah, I think we're going to try and get one more upgrade level on the tonitrus, and in order to do that, we're going to basically have to risk dying. Because down here on the right, there is an area with a lot of really strong enemies, because it's the path back to Yahar Ghul, where we're meant to go much later in the game. But it has a bunch of upgrade materials hidden throughout, so we are going to try and snatch some of those up. And if we're able to do that, I think we're ready for Amelia. Who is one of the coolest bosses in the game, by the way. This rifle spear hunter right here is super annoying, so we're gonna try and skip her by just walking slowly here. And then up here's another kidnapper, a very dangerous kidnapper who likes to do a lot of leaping attacks. But if we can get past him, we should be good for now. now. Yeah, there he is. He didn't run away. Okay. How many do we have? We need 8. We've got 2. That's not enough at all. Down here there are a couple of more, but the problem is that there are a bunch of like executioners, which are these big buff axe enemies, and it's really dangerous. But we're gonna try and do it anyway. Let's hope that that hunter's gonna let us go. That's 1 more, so now we've got 3. We need 5 more. These rifle guys will be hitting you from above if you don't kill them first. That's another important thing to do if you're going to try and do this. Oh, we missed one. That's not good. Okay, so basically we have these executioner guys down here. They're really buff, but behind them are hiding 2 crystal lizards. And you really want to get those if you can, obviously. See that damage? We're not supposed to be here. Wow. Oh, and the guy's shooting me as well. Oh, wow. Okay, if we get closer to the rocks here, maybe he won't be shooting me as much. Okay, we're getting destroyed. That's the first legit death of the run, I guess. That's fine. We gotta get those rifle guys, and once we have both of them, I'm gonna kill the executioners. That's probably the easiest way. We're doing so well too. Yeah, I'm not gonna fight these guys because, like I said, the Taunters has limited durability, so you really don't want to swing a lot when you don't have to. And let's make sure that we get both of the rifle snipers before we go down to the executioners this time. I'm gonna skip the rifle hunter again. This rifle spear hunter is actually really annoying to fight. Not difficult or anything, but fighting other hunters in this game is a lot harder than fighting just regular enemies because they dodge a lot of stuff. Where's the first one? He's down there. So we drop this way, get him. And now we gotta go. Can we do this from here? Okay, that worked. Nice. Okay, that's gonna make a big difference because, as you can see, for some reason, even though he's just like a normal guy, his rifle shots will do half of your life bar. Now, the crystal lizards are going to run away if we get too close. So I'm going to try and draw one of these guys out, kill him before we go in. And then maybe try and skip the second one, we'll see. Oh, he lost that. Okay. Oh, come on, faster. Yes, we got it. So they're right down here. So just run in and see what happens. Okay, that's one. Where's the other one? There's the other one. There it is. That's two. Nice, nice. Okay, we might have to kill this guy now over here. That was way too early on the parry. And then he just gave it up. I was lucky. He just gave it up. Big whiff. It was basically King doing capital punishment when you're sidewalking. That's basically what happened. Yeah, and this is the path back down to Yahar'gul where we went to prison earlier. And we're not going to be back for a while. So how many upgrade stones do we have right now? 7. We need one more. Where can we get one more stone? Let me think. Let me think. Should we tip down to the forest and get one? Maybe there's one in Cathedral Ward down in the square somewhere. Let's go and explore the square and see if we can find one more rock. And then when we're done with that, we're ready to move on. Oh wow. What are you doing? This cross thing that they're wielding, by the way, oh wow, he caught me. It's like, it looks like a cross. It's actually supposed to be a man who's hung upside down, and that's sort of one of the religious symbols of the hunters, I think, in Yharnam. It's a theme that shows up a lot, and you see guys hanging from the trees and stuff. Okay, so we gotta go get those blood echoes that we just lost, first of all. And try not get impatient when you die. That's like one of the main challenges of these games, is to not get impatient when you die and just get annoyed. You know what I mean? Speaking of Lovecraft, by the way, I talked about how I really love his work before we started the playthrough. If you haven't read and you want to read some Lovecraft, I mean, there's great stuff in terms of like audiobooks and stuff you can check out, where people will read it for you if you're not big into reading, you know, literature, which I know is not, you know, a lot of people don't like reading these days, which is fine. But if I'm going to give you some recommendations, I think if you want to like get like a sense of his unique brand of horror, check out maybe Dreams in the Witch House. I think it's a pretty cool story. I also like Fungi from Yugoth, I think is the name of that story. It's a pretty cool one. And what's the one where the guy goes into the hills and there are like people living in underground? At the Hills of Madness or something. That one's pretty cool. And then you should check out the Dunwich Horror. And then the main recommendation that I want to give you, like the main favorite story of mine of Lovecraft that I think is like quintessential really, is The Shadow over Innsmouth. You need to check out The Shadow over Innsmouth if you're interested in getting into Lovecraft. It's my favorite story of his. It's one of the longer ones he wrote, so it actually it goes like a little bit more into like depth. It's less of a short story and more of like a long story, I guess. But there are really good audiobook versions of that you can check out on YouTube. And then the DLC of Bloodborne, the old Hunters DLC, is actually based very heavily on the story of The Shadow over Innsmouth, which is so cool. And another cool thing that I haven't told you guys yet that I should have mentioned earlier is that I've actually never played through the entire DLC of Bloodborne. I've played this game so many times, but I've never played through the whole Old Hunters. For some reason, I just dipped into the first area a couple of times to get... Okay, that's the upgrade stone we know it needed. That's the last one. Cool. I've only dipped into the first area because you can collect some cool weapons, but then I've never really played through the whole thing. I don't know why, because it looks so awesome. Like, I've been saving it, I guess. So when we get to the DLC part of the game and we're going to play the old hunters together, we're actually going to do it for the first time together, and I'm going to see it, like you guys probably know the areas, but I don't, so it's going to be embarrassing, because then you're going to see like how like scared I am when I'm exploring an area in Bloodborne for the first time. You know, I'm very cautious, and I'm probably going to get killed over and over because I don't know what I'm doing. But that's great. Now we've got 8 bloodstones, which means we can get the Tonitrus to the level I want it at, and then we can kill Amelia and then move through the next part of the game. Let's upgrade the weapon first. And we're also going to repair. What? Why don't... Yeah, this is repair. I know the word repair in Japanese, luckily. I don't know why. It's got 100% durability. Why? I've been using it. That's odd. Huh. Okay, you probably know why if you've been watching this. So, if you know why my Tonitrus isn't almost broken, which I thought it would be, let me know. Oh, I forgot to level up. I'm sorry. We gotta go back. And now it's time for Amelia, who's another favorite boss of mine. She just looks awesome. The cutscene is like scared the crap out of me the first time I saw it. I think it's actually one of the few times, maybe the only time off of the top of my head, in all of Bloodborne where you actually get to see somebody turn into a beast live. Well, I guess Gascoigne, you see him turn, but he's already half gone by the time you reach him, because you can see that his teeth are like starting to like grow out and get sharp on the side, so he's already like half werewolf by the time you get to him, which is really cool. Gascoigne is really cool, and he has an awesome hat. Okay, so we got 3 points. We're gonna do 1 vitality, 1 strength, 1 arcane maybe. Okay.
Farewell, good husband.
Okay, and let's get that blood item. This is a boss fight that I'm actually not very good at. So I can't remember if I got in this first try a lot of the time, but let's see what happens. And this is another, like, I think when you kill Amelia, that's like the main point where you've unlocked most of the rest of the game, and then it's just a question of where you want to go next and what area you want to do first, and it becomes a lot less linear after Amelia. But let's not waste durability on the Tonitrus and just go straight for the boss. But yeah, definitely read The Shadow over Innsmouth. But just be aware when you do read Lovecraft, or you do listen to audiobook Lovecraft, that it's dark. It gets dark, and he doesn't really do happy endings. That's not what he's about. He's not about like a horror story that has like a conclusion. He's much more about trying to make you feel or instill a certain sense of like dread. And then once he's done that, that's the point of the entire thing, and then there's not really like any merit to the story other than that there's a lot of mystery to his stories as well, but the mystery is not, it's kind of obvious in the sense that when you start reading a Lovecraft story, you can almost figure out where it's going to go right away, but then it's a question of like watching the main characters find out where the story is going to go and like unraveling the mystery. So the mystery aspect of it is kind of weak, but it's structured just like a Agatha Christie kind of like whodunit kind of mystery, and a lot of the time. But yeah, let's fight Amelia and see what happens. This cutscene is great. She's holding this locket in her hand, and that she's like, it's like a precious item of hers, and you need to attack the hand and attack the item to weaken her. But you can see like a lot of the beasts in Bloodborne, they actually like try to retain some semblance in their humanity, and for her it's like this locket, and so she gets really pissed off if you try and knock it out of her hand. Alright, here we go. Let's see what happens. Another thing about Amelia is a lot of bosses in this game, you can try and get behind them, but she's really good at swinging around her back. See that attack right there? Attacks like that. She has a lot of those where you can't really just stand behind her. She's just gonna mess you up. That's one of her most powerful attacks, by the way, that slam. If you get hit by that, you're done. She actually starts healing herself, which is another unique thing about Amelia. Because she's like a priest, right? Or like a vicar. Pretty clean. I used a lot of blood vials though, which is kind of sloppy, but I had enough to spare. But that's basically the last major enemy off the top of my head where you really want to use fire damage or serrated damage. So now the Tonitors is just going to carry us really solidly throughout most of the rest of the game. This here is the skull of, I think, Lawrence, who founded the church. So just in case you don't, know a lot of the story of Bloodborne, we're going to watch the cutscene. Lawrence was like a scholar, and he was working at a school where the old blood was first discovered. And then he decided to take the blood with him and leave and start the church. This is his old teacher, Willem, who we're going to meet later.
No, but you will never listen. I tell you,
okay, whatever, we don't need to see it. Basically what the cutscene does is they have like a saying within the church, which is like fear the old blood, I think, and that's a password, and you need to know that password to be able to access the old college, Bergenworth, which is where we're going to go eventually after this. So yeah, I wonder what we should do next. I think maybe next I want to do Hemwick. Hemwick is this cool little village nearby. Oh, and another thing we should do actually is now we have access to the next weapon that I want to use as my other main weapon throughout the playthrough. So should we do that now?
Well,
we're probably, like, almost definitely gonna die doing this. So I'm gonna level up, and then we're gonna try and go get the boom hammer. Let's do Just double strength. It's fine. The boom hammer is basically like the coolest concept for a weapon ever because it's kind of like a shotgun or like a bomb inside of a large hammer. So it's really cool, and it deals fire damage. So it's basically like the brother or the sister weapon of the Taunitors. They both scale off of Arcane, which is why that stat is going to be good for both of our weapons. But they also deal lightning damage and fire damage respectively. So if we level up both and we keep them both handy, we're going to be able to like deal lightning damage to the lightning weak enemies and fire to the fire weak enemies, which is kind of the idea I had for this playthrough that I wanted to do for this sort of like engineer themed character that I made. And I've never actually used either of these weapons a lot in any of my playthroughs. I've just tried them a couple of times. But in order to get the boom hammer, we're going to have to dip into the Old Hunters DLC. Because it's a DLC weapon. And like I said, I've gone through that area just to get weapons before. But it's really high level. Like easily the most difficult area we've been to so far, and all of the enemies are quite easily going to kill us, so we're basically going to have to like suicide through and just try and get the items we need and then leave. Oh, and you can see by the way that when we kill Amelia, the sun actually sets, and now it's night in Yarnum, and a lot of like the enemies and NPCs have like changed their position, so like the world state has changed kind of. This is where you access the DLC. You gotta get grabbed by this god monster here. And now we can access the Old Hunters, the Hunter's Nightmare. And there are some upgrade stones that we want to get, and there are some weapons we want to get, mainly the boom hammer. I think only the boom hammer. But yeah, this might take a couple of tries because this area is hard. That's nice, that's one upgrade stone which we're going to need for the boom hammer. I get that. Don't get killed. Dodge the boulder. Left. That was a waste of blood vials because I was already full, right? Or was I? Maybe not. This is another like really annoying area because there's like an old guy with a like a Gatling gun here, and he destroys you. Almost got killed right there. And you got like sort of trying to dodge through this area, but it's really easy to get killed. Just gotta kill this one inside. Wait. Roll through that one. Dodge these enemies. Oh shit. Okay. Now you can run too quickly here because the enemies up ahead are going to be blocking the path, so I usually dip down here and collect this item first. That guy throws grenades, that's fine. More grenades. Okay, we just got through, just barely. And now this is where the boom hammer is located. Please don't die, please don't die. And now this is going to explode, so we're going to get out fast. Okay, nice enough. Okay, so we basically got the main things we needed, so we can die now. But I want to try and get some upgrade materials that are hidden throughout this area before we head back, which is hard, but it's doable. Because these mosquito men down here, these blood lickers, I think they're called, you don't want to mess with them right now. They are a hassle, to say the least. Oh, look, It's one of those guys. Oh right, there's one of those guys here. Okay, so that's one of the upgrade stones that we need after the ones that we're using right now. That's the level 3 ones. That's another level 3 one. Wow, I've never gone in here before. This is great. Okay, that's good. That's really good. What else is there? Come on. That's good. That's really good. Wow. Wow. This is just like where all the upgrade materials are hidden. Wow, this is so good. Okay, we got a lot though. Is that the Bloodstarved Beast? They just casually put like one of the hardest bosses in the game as a regular enemy down there. Okay, wow. So how many did we get? Because we want to get a total of, what is it, 16 for the boom hammer. That's quite a lot. I don't think we got nearly 16, but let's check it out. Okay, we got 8. Okay, let's go through and try and get a couple more. It might be worth it. Are there any hidden here in this first part again? I can't remember. Let's get this, whatever it is. Yeah, there was. That's great. Is that 2? That's really good. So we're at 10 now. That's really good. Left. Now we've got to do the Gatling guns again. That's annoying. But I think it's going to be worth it. Boomhammer, like I've never mained it, but I've used it a couple of times. It's like my favorite weapon ever. It's so cool. You're going to see once we get it. Maybe we can drop down early by going in here. Can we do that? No. Okay, there's no path. Maybe there's behind those things. Huh? To this guy. Maybe we can... Oh, wait, what's this? Is this upgrade stuff? No. Hat. I don't want a hat. I already have the best hat. Let's go in here and see if there's anything we missed. I think there was stuff on the right. Yep. Oh, that's the amygdala arm. It's like a weapon that I'm not interested in. Is that it for this area? Yeah, that was good though. That was really good. It was a good area. I think that was it. Okay, so now we have 11. We need 5 more. That's actually quite a lot. I don't think we can get 5 easily. Now let's see. There's so many of them. See that damage? That's crazy damage. Okay. Like I said, I've never played through the DLC. I've only run through this area a couple of times, but I'm betting that these guys are going to be hard even when by the time you actually get here. Because that's a lot of damage. Like, it's not like my health pool is just going to casually... Oh wow, that's a strong guy. We don't want to fight him at all. We don't want to fight him. We don't want to fight him. Come on. I'm sorry. That's a really strong guy. Oh yeah, this is Simon. I don't know a lot about Simon. I know he's the guy who has the Simon's Bowblade, which is like a weird item, a weird weapon you can use in the game that I've never used. Another thing, like I told you, how I never play like rogue or stealthy characters in RPGs. One thing I also never, like categorically never play are hunters or archers or you know, characters that use bows or use like pets, like that sort of like, you know, World of Warcraft hunter archetype character. This is really not my thing at all. I don't know why, because I like when you can play sometimes casters who are summoners, when if you can have like, you know, a familiar or like a demon pet and stuff. I think that's pretty cool, and I've done that a couple of times. But just like the archer character archetype is just really unappealing to me for some reason. I don't know why. I basically like warrior characters. I like clerical characters a lot of the time. And then another thing that I really like a main thing of mine is I'm a sucker for like cool kung fu stuff. And so whenever you can play like a monk or a martial artist, or you can use like fist weapons and stuff like that, I love that stuff as well. So in Diablo 3, I loved the monk. I think that was so well executed. The sort of design and like visual sort of like design of the monk in Diablo 3. And then also my main character in World of Warcraft, which I don't play anymore. Obviously, it's been a long time since I played that seriously, but was since the monk came out, I always played a monk in World of Warcraft. I thought that was so much fun. The animations looked really awesome, and I just thought the monk was so cool. Especially like the healer version of the monk, the Mistweaver, I thought was so cool, so well executed, because you had this skill called Soothing Mist, which was basically you basically put like a healing tether, almost like a garden hose, on the target you were healing. And then you could use that to sort of channel other heals through it. It was such a cool concept. So like you would put that like healing hose, or that it was like a healing beam that you channeled on a character, and then when you cast another heal on the same character while you were channeling that, it's almost like you shot the healing spell through that beam and it became instant, and it was such a cool concept. Okay, I think we've basically got all the items we're going to be able to get around here. And now we're getting into areas of the game where I've personally never been before, so I'm pretty sure that's the Ludwig fight, and Ludwig is a boss that I've never killed in my life. So we're gonna come back here much later, and we're gonna kill Ludwig for the first time together. And you can see me suck. But let's look over here, and then when we're done with that, we're gonna head back and check out Hemwick. Oh yeah, 'cause there's this guy as well. We want to get. Okay, so let's see. We've got 11 of those and 6 of those. Yeah, that'll do. That's fine. Okay. So that was a little interlude in the Hunter's Nightmare, and now we're going to go back and move on with the game.